Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today we're going to be unboxing and taking a look at Vital Assets. This is probably the single most important expansion to hit Legion in a very, very long time, because this is going to give us a bunch of new objective, condition, and deployment cards, which are going to fundamentally change the way Legion is played from this day forward, or if in your case from a month or two ago forward, because this is one of those expansions that came out all over the place before it was actually released officially. So thanks to just a really wacky distribution and release schedule, this has come out all over the place. Now, what it does look like is that we're going to see some stuff here on the back. This is kind of how that's going to look like, and we're going to have some new cards in here, and that's going to be fun. We're going to take a look at all of the stuff that comes in here, and yeah, this is going to be fun. Boy, we got a bunch of sprues. Look at that. Also, if you're new here, there is still time left to enter to win the giveaway for the $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. And we got bases too. You know, another cool thing about this, there's sometimes people looking for just regular bases, and if for whatever reason you just want an extra regular bases, this is a way to do that. So that's actually pretty cool. Yeah, so you've got that. We've got cards. We're going to look at all of this stuff. Look at this sprues. We can put all of these. Like, these look like they're going to go together really easy. They're just pretty much boxes and stuff. So I'm not going to assemble all of this stuff on the video. Like, I'll do that with a lot of the miniatures now. I'll do assembly. But in this case, since this is all pretty self-explanatory, I will just kind of show you guys the sprues. So let's go ahead and just take a closer look at this. This looks like the bomb carts. And so that's one of the things we're going to see. We're going to see there's bomb carts or payload carts like that. And you've got all kinds of other stuff that can go on there. Oh, that is cool. Now, I know some people are considering putting magnets in here before they mount up the payload carts. So this way there can be things on them or not on them. So you can use these for that if you want. And you've got all these mines. And there's oh, this is going to be so much fun. You've got these really cool looking crates here that may contain all kinds of cool payload stuff. This will be fun. I think there's a lot of different ways that you can potentially do this, because you've got. My thought is that the payload. Originally I was thinking I would save the big mines for. There's one of the objectives that you have to drop stuff off with speedy vehicles, and then the other one, which is more like payload from like Overwatch or Team Fortress 2, where you're escorting the payload. And I was thinking that would be more of like the supply crates, and leave the mines for the other one. But it looks like you kind of have a lot of flexibility on how you want to do this, so that much is pretty cool. And of course you got Senator Chuchi and your Neomoidian dude there also, so that's also pretty cool. All right, so let's see, we've got these. Oh, and we've got our little Senator and Neomoidian right here, so that much is awesome. Look at that. Oh, there we go. Very cool. Now, one of the cool things about this is I've heard that this is just a mini, right? It's not an actual combat unit. It's just a mini, really, for an objective. So if you weren't playing Clone Wars era and still wanted to run the mission that corresponds with this one, you could probably use any mini you want. Like if you weren't running Leia, you wanted Leia to be the hostage or something like that, you could probably do that. And that would be pretty fun. Let's go ahead and look at the cards that are going to come in here. All right, so first let's look at some of the new deployment cards. First one we're going to look at is Danger Close. Now this one is going to kind of use the sides of the board and keep the middle completely wide open, and you can potentially start really close to one another's deployment zone. I think this would be a really fun one if maybe you're running like R2-D2 and you want to be able to just have a really easy shot into an enemy deployment zone. That's definitely something that you might want to look at. Plus, there's some new objectives here that really want you to be getting into your opponent's deployment zone, and then this could be really nice for things like that. We also have Roll Out. This one is awesome because during the deployment phase, each vehicle may deploy within range 1 of a friendly deployment zone. So that's like, look, you're basically giving your it's almost like giving your vehicles scout, right? Because they get to start out kind of outside of the deployment zone as long as they're within range 1, which is huge, and gives those vehicles a real nice advantage. Plus, it does allow you to kind of get them in prime position and have units that might need some light cover to kind of be right behind them, especially if there's wide open spots in the terrain. And this one can be very terrain dependent, especially if the areas where you might deploy are overlapped by terrain pieces already. And this one, Hemmed In, is actually pretty unique because this is a very asymmetric version. You have the blue player is going to be in the middle and going to be kind of flanked by the red player, which is especially interesting. This one, I think, I have not run any of these yet. I know some people have been running them. Some people got them already early, and of course they've been used in Tabletop Simulator, but I like to wait until I have the physical stuff before I run them. But this one looks like one that I'm just not sure I'm going to want to use as much, but I guess it kind of depends. Honestly, it kind of depends on how the terrain is going to be also, because this could be really, really beneficial in some terrain pieces, especially if you're playing some kind of defensive thing and the terrain is going to kind of force your opponent to have to come, around the sides. They might not be able to go through the middle. So that one is really interesting. All right. So first off, we've got some new objectives. We've got Hostage Exchange, which is going to give you these 2 new hostage cards, and they're basically the same. But Hostage Exchange is going to say each player chooses 1 core unit that they control during setup. Then, starting with the blue player, each player places their opponent's chosen unit on or as near possible to the center of the battlefield and performs a speed 1 move with that unit. And basically, they're going to be trying to get back to their home deployment zone. So basically, I'm going to take your stormtroopers that have my hostage, right? I'm going to put them in the middle and then perform a speed 1 move away from your deployment zone. And then each player places a claimed objective token in base contact with that unit, and it's going to be a basic, a base, one of the hostages is what you're going to put on there. But really, it's just an objective token, right? But you can use a hostage miniature to kind of increase the thematics of it, and that plus it looks cooler. And then you're going to equip that hostage upgrade card. Now, during round 1, you can't be bombed, so nobody can use detonate. And also, all trooper units gain claims. So if you are able to kill that hostage carrying unit, then you can go in and rescue your own hostage. Or if they kill their own hostage unit and try to rescue it, you can kill it right back and then reclaim it again. Now, but basically at the end of the game, you gain a victory point for each hostage you still control, and you gain an extra victory token for each hostage that's within your deployment zone that if you control that hostage as well. And the hostage upgrades are they're both the same, but basically they give you an extra courage, they reduce your movement speed, and you cannot start a melee. But during round 1, enemy units cannot start a melee with you or attack you, and you're immune to all enemy effects. So like force push isn't going to work, right? And that's just there because you'll probably be close enough for like Darth Vader to kind of move up to you and try to force push you or do kinds of nasty things like that. And so that's basically what that's all about. Now after round 1, then it's fair game. But yeah, that's pretty nasty. I'm not gonna lie, that looks like a really fun one. We also have Payload, which we talked about the payload already a little bit. You guys are each going to basically you're starting with the blue player. You're gonna place a bomb cart within your deployment zone, and then each player, so each player is gonna choose a piece of terrain that basically I'm gonna choose where you need to take your bomb cart, and you're going to choose where I need to take my bomb cart. And and then they're going to basically go that way. As long as you have more unit leaders close to your bomb cart, and you're going to be using one of these bases for it. And so it's going to basically be able to pivot and make a speed 2 move, and it's going to try and do that the whole game. Now this one is going to be really interesting depending on how the terrain is set up and which deployment you end up going with as well. Because this one could be nuts. So this one looks like it'll be a lot of fun, but you really got to escort that payload, and you're going to get 3 victory points if you can make a touch the piece of terrain, 2 victory points if you can get it within range 1, or just 1 if it's within a range 2 move. If you don't get it even to within a range 2 move, you're not going to get any victory points. And so this one could be really, like, this is a huge game changer. Then we've got Bombing Run. Oh my goodness. All right, so I really like Bombing Run. I really like this one because this was a good one for double snow speeder, right? After the deploy units step, starting with the blue player, each player places 3 unclaimed objective tokens in base contact with friendly unit leaders that are within the player's deployment zone. So you have to be within the deployment zone. And the important thing for that is if you're doing, something like, scout, or if you're using rollout, you're not going to be able to give somebody a head start. They have to actually be within the deployment zone. And then you're going to give them a bomb, so like, again, one of these things, right? But yes, and this is going to be so much fun, right? So troopers can claim, but everybody can drop. So I can put it on a snow speeder, but if they drop it, they're not going to be able to claim it again. But yes, at the end of the activation phase, each player may detonate 1 unclaimed objective token that was flipped to its unclaimed side with a drop ability. Now, what this really means is, if you drop a bomb, you better hope there's no enemy troops that are going to be able to move to it and claim it. Because and this is the thing, like Boba Fett could be really good at this. Boba Fett and Sabine could be really good with their speed 3 jump, shenanigans to just be like, oh no, I'm still in range. I can guard the zone. You're going to drop the thing. I can run to it and claim it, and then bring it back to you. So I think that's like a really fun way to employ Boba Fett as like kind of playing defense on this one, but also really good for fast vehicles, speeder bikes, snow speeders. I think the snow speeders are going to be the best one for this. I really am excited about that one. So this one will be really fun. And now we got some new conditions. We've got Fortified Positions. Starting with the blue player, players alternate placing barricades on the battlefield until 8 barricades have been placed. When a player places a barricade, it must be placed inside their deployment zone or within range 1 to 2 of their deployment zone. Each barricade must be placed horizontally. And what they don't want, barricades like go on the ground, right? They don't want you like trying to place it like pointing towards the sky. You're not gonna do that. And it's really funny that they had to point that out, but I think that's pretty funny. So yeah, flat. You got to place it flat on the ground. Well, I guess technically, since those sides are flat, you could still make that argument. So, you got War Wary. When checking whether a unit is panicked, the range at which its units can use a friendly commander's courage instead of its own is reduced by 2 to a minimum of 1. So this is really going to be good for maybe Empire players, people that want to put out a lot of suppression. This one could be really insane. Really bad if you like to spread your units out quite a bit. This one could be very problematic for you. And then we've got Supply Drop. Now, Supply Drop is one of the most interesting of this whole thing because it gives you the supply deck. And you're going to prepare the supply deck. Starting with the blue player, players alternate placing condition tokens face down on the battlefield until 6 tokens have been placed. Each token must be placed beyond range 1 of each deployment zone and beyond range 1 of any other condition token. Non-creature troopers gain the free action of being able to resupply. So they're going to be able to choose a condition token in base contact with your unit leader and flip it face up if able. Otherwise, remove it. Then draw 2 supply cards, equip 1, and shuffle 1 into the deck. And they have all kinds of cool things, right? So we've got a field scanner. Did I shuffle this? Or is it? I think there's like 2 of everything. We got field scanner. We've got back to capsules. We've got that arc welder repair. We've got camouflage. Look at that low profile. Awesome. We've got the grapnel harpoon. Look at Luke doing his thing. Love it. You can scale. Look at that. We've got precision scopes. I really like this one. Now you'll notice some of these have an X on them. That means they're a one-time use and then they're discarded. But like precision scopes, for example, are just an exhaust, so you can use those multiple times. We've got targeting rangefinder. Oh, that one's cool. Marksman is awesome. I like that. I like that's a way to get new stuff on on other people. And we got the hollow projector. It's also during the issue order step of the command phase. Issue 1 order to yourself or another friendly unit at range 1. Like, there's so many really cool things that this does. This is easily my favorite condition in the game now, because I think I'm going to include this in 100% of my decks. But there's, I mean, and that's probably just at start to figure it out. But I think there is going to be a lot of potential really, really nice combos with this one too, because increasing the number of orders that can be issued can be really nice, especially if your your leader gets this and maybe they've got aggressive tactics or something like that. There's all kinds of really, really cool things you could do. Giving somebody scale, that'll be so cool. Low profile is going to be nice too. But I like the back to capsules too. That's really good. I think my favorite one though is precision scopes. I really love that one, especially for clones too, man. Free aims. Even if you don't need the aim, you can then share it with your buddies. Love it. All right, guys, that is Vital Assets. I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think about this pack. This looks super cool, and it's giving so much more depth to the the whole basically the early game of which cards do you pick, because there really hasn't been that much choice, and so now there's a real choice for which cards you put into your or objective, condition, and deployment cards. So I think that's really cool. But again, love to hear from you guys. That's about it. I want to thank all of you so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons on Patreon. Be sure to check out the merch as well below the video. If you want to check out my Teespring shop, we've got new face shields, we've got t-shirts over there, all kinds of cool stuff. Thank you so much, and as always, have a great day.